The city never sleeps, and neither does Emma Dot at 19 years old. She knows the weight of exhaustion like an old companion, heavy, familiar, unrelenting. The alarm screams at 4:30 a.m., shattering what little rest she managed to steal. Her eyes burn as she forces them open in the darkness of her tiny studio apartment, where the walls are stained with age and the heater only works when it feels like it. She doesn't have time to feel sorry for herself. There's no space for self-pity when you're running on fumes and sheer willpower. Emma pulls on her uniformer, faded blue polo shirt with a coffee stain near the hem that never quite came out. Her jeans are worn thin at the knees, held together more by hope than thread. And her shoes tell the whole story. The soles are separating from the fabric, held together with duct tape she replaced last week. Every step she takes makes a soft squelching sound, a reminder that even the smallest things, like a decent pair of shoes, are a luxury she can't afford. But Emma doesn't complain. She never does. She splashes cold water on her face, pulls her dark hair into a messy ponytail, and grabs the brown paper bag containing her lunch, a peanut butter sandwich and an apple, the same thing she's eaten for months. Then she steps out into the pre-dawn chill, locking the door behind her with a key that sticks. Her first shift is at the diner on 5th Street. She arrives by 5:30 a.m. to prep for the breakfast rush-lacing fruit, brewing industrial-sized pots of coffee, wiping down tables. The owner, a gruff man named Lou, barely acknowledges her. She's just another pair of hands. Disposable. Replaceable. But Emma works like she matters. She greets every customer with a genuine smile, refills coffee before it's asked for, remembers regulars by name. It's a small rebellion against invisibility, a quiet insistence that she is here. She is human. She is worth noticing. By noon, her feet are already aching. But there's no time to rest. She clocks out and hurries to her second job at a corner convenience store. She works the register, stocks, shelves, sweeps, floors. The fluorescent lights hum overhead, harsh and unforgiving. Sometime around 3 o'clock, when the afternoon sun slants through the grimy store windows, Emma steps outside for a breath of air. That's when she sees Hima's stray dog, ribs showing through his matted fur, limping on 3 legs. He's digging through an overturned trash can, desperate. Emma's heart clenches. She looks down at the apple in her handa. Only thing left of her lunch. The only thing she has to look forward to for the next few hours. She doesn't hesitate. She crouches down, speaks softly so she doesn't startle him. "Hey there, buddy. You hungry?" The dog's eyes, one brown, one clouded with injury, lock onto hers. There's fear there, but also a flicker of hope. Emma sets the apple down and slowly pushes it toward him. He sniffs it cautiously, then devours it in 3 bites, his tail giving a tentative wag. "I know it's not much," Emma whispers, reaching out slowly to scratch behind his ears. "But it's all I've got right now." The dog leans into her touch for just a moment, and something warm blooms in Emma's chest, a feeling that has nothing to do with money or comfort. It's connection, compassion, the knowledge that even when you have nothing, you can still give something. By the time her shift ends at 7, darkness has fallen again. Her third job climbing offices downtown starts at 8. The office building is silent and sterile. Emma moves through the cubicles like a ghost, emptying trash cans, vacuuming carpets, wiping down desks. It's almost midnight when she finally stumbles back to her apartment. Her whole body aches. But before she collapses into bed, Emma does one more thing. She counts the tips from the diner and adds them to the mason jar on her windowsill. It's labeled in fading marker, college fund. There's maybe $200 in there, barely a drop in the ocean of what she'd need. But it represents something more valuable than money. It represents belief. Belief that things can get better. Belief that she's worth more than this endless grind. Emma allows herself one small smile before exhaustion drags her under. Tomorrow, she'll do it all again. The next day starts like all the others do, early. Too cold, too much to do, and never enough time. But this day will be different. Though Emma doesn't know it yet. It's Thursday, which means the diner is slower than usual. By 10 a.m., the breakfast rush has died down, and Lou grudgingly lets Emma leave 15 minutes early. She steps out into the crisp autumn morning, pulling her thin jacket tighter. She's heading toward the bus stop when she sees her. An elderly woman, elegantly dressed in a cream-colored coat and silk scarf, is standing at the edge of a busy intersection. Her hands, delicate and trembling, grip a wooden cane. The light is green. The crosswalk sign is flashing, but she's frozen. Uncertainty written across her face as cars rush past mere feet away. People flow around her like a river around a stone businessman checking their phones. Mothers pushing strollers, teenagers with earbuds in. No one stops. No one even slows down. Emma watches the light turn yellow, then red. The woman hasn't moved. She looks lost, frightened, small despite her dignified bearing. And Emma is going to be late for her second shift. The thought crosses her mind for only a second before she dismisses it. She walks over, her worn shoes soft against the pavement. "Excuse me, Ma, are you okay?" The woman turns, and Emma sees her eyes up, close pale blue, watery with age, but sharp, intelligent. There's something regal about her, even in her vulnerability. "Oh," the woman says, her voice cultured, refined. I'm sorry." These lights change so fast now, and the cars, she trails off, embarrassed. "It's okay," Emma says gently. "Would you like some help crossing?" Relief floods the woman's face. "Would you mind? I don't want to be a burden." "You're not a burden at all." Emma offers her arm, and the woman takes it, her grip surprisingly strong. They wait together for the light to change. When it does, Emma guides her carefully across the street, matching her slow, cautious pace. She can feel dozens of people pushing past them, impatient, annoyed at being slowed down. But Emma doesn't rush her. She keeps her arm steady, her presence calm. "Almost there," she murmurs encouragingly. "You're doing great." When they reach the other side, the woman is slightly out of breath. Emma spots a bench a few yards away. "Would you like to sit down for a moment? Make sure you're steady." "You're very kind," the woman says, allowing Emma to lead her to the bench. They sit together in a small pocket of stillness amid the chaos of the city. The woman catches her breath, one hand pressed to her chest. Emma gives her time, doesn't rush. "Thank you, dear," the woman finally says, turning to look at Emma fully. Truly, I don't know what I would have done if you hadn't stopped. Emma shakes her head, uncomfortable with the praise. Anyone would have helped. The woman's expression shifts, something sad and knowing passes through her eyes. No, dear. They wouldn't have. They didn't. She pauses, then extends a slender hand. I'm Margaret. Emma. She shakes Margaret's hand gently, noticing the quality of the woman's leather gloves, the subtle gleam of what must be real pearls at her throat. It's a pleasure to meet you, Emma. A true pleasure. Are you sure you're okay? Emma asks, is there someone I can call for you? I'll be fine, dear. My driver will be circling back shortly. Margaret pats Emma's hand. You've already done more than enough. Shouldn't you be getting somewhere? Emma glances at her phone and winces. She's definitely going to be late now. I should probably go, she admits. Absolutely not. You've been wonderful, but I won't make you late on my account. Margaret reaches into her elegant handbag. Please, let me at least— Oh, no, Emma says quickly, standing up. Really? It's okay. I'm just glad you're safe. Margaret looks at her for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she smiles a smile of such warmth and genuine appreciation that Emma feels something shift in her chest. You have a rare heart. Emma, don't ever let this city harden it. Emma doesn't know what to say to that. She just smiles, nods, and starts to walk away. Emma. Margaret calls after her. She turns back. Thank you for seeing me, for truly seeing me. Emma feels tears prick unexpectedly at her eyes. She blinks them away, nods again, and hurries toward the bus stop. She doesn't think about the encounter much after that. There's no time. The rest of the day is the usual grind. By the time she's cleaning offices that night, the memory of the elegant woman on the bench has faded into the background noise of her exhausted mind. Emma has no idea that across the city, in a mansion overlooking the park, Margaret Ashford is sitting in her study, a phone in her hand, speaking to someone with quiet determination. Find her, Margaret says. I need to know who she is. 4 days pass. 4 days of the same routine early mornings, aching feet, forced smiles, 4 days of Emma being invisible again, swallowed by the city's indifference. It's late Tuesday afternoon, and Emma has just gotten home from the convenience store. She has exactly 45 minutes before she needs to leave for her night shift. She's stirring boiling water into her cup of noodles when there's a knock at the door. Emma freezes. Nobody knocks on her door? The knock comes again, firmer this time. Authoritative. Emma approaches the door cautiously, peering through the peephole. A man in an expensive-looking charcoal suit stands in her dingy hallway, looking completely out of place. He's middle-aged, professionally groomed, holding a leather briefcase. Behind him, visible through the hallway window, Emma can see a sleek black car parked on the street below. Her stomach clenches with anxiety. Who is it? She calls through the door, her voice shakier than she'd like. Miss Emma Cortez? The man's voice is smooth, professional. My name is Harrison. I'm an attorney. I'd like to speak with you if you have a moment. An attorney. Emma's mind races. What could an attorney possibly want with her? With trembling hands, she unlocks the door and opens it just a few inches. The chain still attached. Mr. Harrison offers a polite smile. Miss Cortez, I apologize for showing up unannounced. I understand this must be alarming. I assure you, you're not in any trouble. Quite the opposite, actually. What do you want? Emma asks warily. I represent the Ashford family. I've been asked to deliver a message on behalf of Mrs. Margaret Ash. He pauses, watching for recognition. Emma's eyes widen. Margaret? The woman from the crosswalk. Yes. Mr. Harrison's smile becomes warmer. She'd very much like to see you again, if you're willing. She asked me to extend an invitation to visit her home. Emma's first instinct is to refuse. This feels wrong, surreal. Why? Mr. Harrison doesn't seem offended. Mrs. Ashford was very moved by your kindness the other day. She'd like the opportunity to thank you properly and perhaps, well, I think it's best if she explains herself. Would you be willing to meet with her? Emma's mind is spinning. I don't understand. I didn't do anything special. Mrs. Ashford would disagree. Mr. Harrison reaches into his jacket pocket and produces a business card, passing it through the gap in the door. Her address and my contact information. Please, think about it. There's absolutely no pressure. If you decide you'd like to visit, simply call the number. Emma takes the card with numb fingers. The paper is heavy, expensive. The address is in one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the city. She'd be happy to meet whenever is convenient for you, Mr. Harrison continues. But she did want me to stress that she's hoping very much you'll say yes. Emma stares at the card. And you're sure this is real? His expression softens with understanding. It's very real. Miss Cortez, and I promise you, Mrs. Ashford's intentions are entirely genuine. With that, he gives a small nod and walks down the hallway. Emma stands frozen in her doorway, the business card clutched in her hand. What just happened that evening? After her cleaning shift, Emma doesn't go straight home. Instead, she climbs the creaking stairs to the third floor and knocks on apartment 3B. Mrs. Chun opens the door, her weathered face breaking into a warm smile. Emma, dear, what a nice surprise. Come in. Mrs. Chun is a widow who's been kind to Emma since the day she moved in, bringing her soup when she was sick, listening when she needed to talk, never judging. Emma steps into the familiar warmth of the cluttered apartment, and suddenly, without warning, the whole story comes tumbling out. The woman at the crosswalk, the attorney, the business card, the impossible invitation. Mrs. Chun listens without interrupting, pouring tea into delicate cups. When Emma finally falls silent, drained and confused, the older woman is quiet for a long moment. You're afraid, Mrs. Chun finally says. It's not a question. I don't belong in that world, Emma whispers. I don't know why she wants to see me. I'm nobody. Mrs. Chun sets down her teacup with a soft clink. Emma, dear, let me tell you something. When I first came to this country, I had nothing. I worked in a factory, cleaning jobs, anything I could find. Emma knows this story, but she listens. One day, I got very sick, pneumonia. I was going to die. Rather than go to hospital, I couldn't afford it. But my neighbor, an old Jewish man, he found me collapsed in the hallway. He called ambulance, went to hospital with me, paid for everything. Mrs. Chun's eyes are distant with memory. I told him I would pay him back. He said, just pass it forward someday. That's all. She looks at Emma directly now. You know what my mistake was? For years, I was too proud to accept his help. Too ashamed. I thought accepting charity made me weak. But you know what? I finally understood. Emma shakes her head. Refusing someone's kindness is its own form of arrogance. It says, my pride is more important than your generosity. It denies them the joy of giving. That man wanted to help me. By refusing, I would have hurt him. The words hit Emma like a physical blow. This woman, Mrs. Shun, continues, gesturing to the business card. She wants to thank you. Maybe she wants to do more. Maybe she sees something in you worth nurturing. Who are you to tell her she's wrong? Emma feels tears sliding down her cheeks. What if I fail? What if you don't? Mrs. Chun counters gently. Emma, dear, you spend every day giving everything you have. You work 3 jobs. You share your food with stray dogs. You stop to help old ladies when everyone else rushes past. You are extraordinary. And maybe it's time you let someone see that. Mrs. Chun reaches across the table and takes both of Emma's hands. There is grace in giving, but there is also grace in receiving. Learn to do both. That night, back in her own apartment, Emma picks up her phone. Her finger hovers over the call button for a full minute. Then, before she can talk herself out of it, she presses it. Mr. Harrison answers on the second ring. Miss Cortes. I'm so glad you called. Emma takes a shaky breath. When would Mrs. Ashford like to see me? The car that picks Emma up on Saturday morning is unlike anything she's ever been inside. Leather seats. Climate control. Complete silence except for soft classical music. Emma watches the city transform outside. The tinted windows as they drive from her rundown neighborhood toward wealth she can barely comprehend. The buildings get taller, cleaner. The streets get wider, lined with healthy trees. The people walk with the confidence of those who've never worried about rent. Emma tugs at her jacket, the nicest thing she owns, which isn't saying much. Her shoes are the same duct tape disasters. She tried to make herself presentable, but there's only so much you can do when your wardrobe consists of work, uniforms, and thrift store rejects. The car turns onto a tree-lined street where mansions sit behind iron gates. Then they pull through a pair of massive gates, up a curved driveway, and stop in front of a house that looks like something out of a period drama. 3 stories of cream-colored stone, tall windows, columns. Emma can't move. Miss Cortez. The driver has opened her door. She forces herself to step out. The front door opens before she reaches it. A woman in a neat black dress and actual maid greets her with a warm smile. Miss Cortez, welcome. Mrs. Ashford is expecting you. Please follow me. Emma steps into a foyer that's bigger than her entire apartment. Marble floors gleam under a chandelier. A sweeping staircase curves upward. She wants to run, but before she can bolt, she hears a voice. Emma, dear, you came. And there's Margaret descending the staircase. She's dressed beautifully, but simply, her white hair perfectly styled. But it's her face that matters. Her face is lit up with genuine joy. Mrs. Ashford, Emma manages, her voice small. Thank you for none of that, Margaret says firmly, reaching the bottom of the stairs. She approaches Emma and takes both her hands. Thank you for coming. I know this must all seem very strange. A little, Emma admits, unable to help a nervous smile. Margaret's laugh is delightful. Well, let's make it less strange, shall we? Come, let's have some tea. Just you and me. She keeps hold of Emma's hand and leads her through the mansion to a conservatory that's all windows and light. It overlooks a garden that looks like it belongs in a magazine. A tea service is already laid out on a small table between two comfortable chairs. Real China. Real silver. Tiny sandwiches. Pastries that look like works of art. Please sit, Margaret says, settling into one chair. Emma perches on the edge of the other, spine straight, hands in her lap. She's terrified to touch anything. Margaret begins pouring tea. I'm sure you're wondering why I asked you here. A little, yes, ma'am. Call me Margaret, please. She hands Emma a delicate cup. I wanted to thank you properly, but more than that, I wanted to understand something. Understand what? Margaret is quiet for a moment. Emma, can I tell you a story? Emma nods. I grew up in a small town in West Virginia. Margaret begins. My father was a coal miner. My mother took in laundry. We were poor, that kind of poor, where you wear shoes with holes in them and go to bed hungry. Emma's eyes widen. She glances around the luxurious conservatory, unable to reconcile it with Margaret's words. I know, Margaret says, with a small smile. Hard to believe. But it's true. I married William Ashford when I was 22. He came from money, but he saw something in me beyond my circumstances. He gave me this life. She gestures around them. But I never forgot where I came from. Never. She leans forward slightly. A few months ago, I was diagnosed with a heart condition. Nothing immediately life-threatening, but it made me think about time, about legacy. And I found myself wondering, has all this wealth made people softer, or has it made them harder? Emma stays quiet, listening. I decided to find out. Margaret continues, I've been going out without my driver, without security, testing the city, watching how people treat a vulnerable old woman when there's nothing to gain from helping her. Understanding begins to dawn on Emma. That day at the crosswalk wasn't an accident. I stood there deliberately watching dozens of people pass me. Dozens. They all rushed past like I was invisible. Emma's throat feels tight. But you stopped. Margaret's eyes are bright with tears. You stopped. You gave me your time, your kindness. You made sure I was safe. And when I tried to give you money, you refused. Do you know how rare that is? I just thought it was the right thing to do, Emma whispers. Exactly. Margaret's voice rises with emotion. The right thing, not for reward, not for recognition, just because it was right. Emma, do you know what you gave me that day? Emma shakes her head. Hope, Margaret says simply. Hope that kindness isn't dead. Hope that there are still people who see other people, truly see them and respond with compassion. You reminded me why my husband and I spent our lives trying to make the world better. Because of people like you. People who have so little but give so much. A tear slides down Emma's cheek. Don't apologize for tears, Margaret says gently. Not here. They sit in comfortable silence, the afternoon sun warming them both. You asked me why I wanted to see you again, Margaret finally says. The truth is, I needed to know you were real, that our encounter wasn't a fluke. And now that I'm sitting here with you, she pauses. Now I know you're exactly who I hoped you were. Emma feels like her heart might burst. She's never been seen like this. Never been valued like this. I don't know what to say, Emma admits. You don't have to say anything. Not yet. Margaret reaches across and takes Emma's hand again. But I do have something I want to ask you, and I need you to take your time answering. Can you do that? Emma nods. Margaret takes a deep breath. Emma, I'd like to change your life. If you'll let me. The words hang in the air like something tangible. What? It's the only response Emma can manage. Margaret squeezes her hand once, then releases it. She looks suddenly nervous, which is somehow comforting. Let me explain. Margaret says, I've spent my entire adult life in philanthropy. I've donated to countless causes, funded scholarships, built hospitals, and all of that matters, but it's always been impersonal. Money going into systems, helping people I never meet. She pauses. When I was young, a teacher paid for me to take a college entrance exam. One teacher, $100, one chance. That changed everything. It got me a scholarship to a small state school. That's where I met William. That's how my entire life was transformed, because one person saw potential in me. Emma's heart is pounding. I want to do that for you. Emma, I want to be that person in your story. Mrs. Ashford Margaretai, Don Singo quotes T. Double quotes Emma's. Let me finish, please. Margaret's voice is gentle but firm. I've done some research. I hope you'll forgive the intrusion. I know you work 3 jobs. I know you're trying to save for college. I know you've been on your own since you aged out of foster care at 80. I know you're surviving, but barely. Emma should feel violated, but she doesn't. There's no judgment in Margaret's voice. I want to fund your education, Margaret says clearly. Any school you want to attend? Any program you want to study? Full tuition, room and board, books, living, expenses. You'd never have to work 3 jobs again. You could focus entirely on your studies. The conservatory tilts. Emma grips the chair arms. I know. No, I can't. That's too much. I can't accept that. Why not? Margaret asks calmly. Because I didn't do anything to deserve it. I helped you cross the street. That's it. 5 minutes. You can't change someone's entire life over 5 minutes. Can't I? Margaret's smile is sad and knowing. Emma, dear, do you know why I can do this? Emma shakes her head. Because 60 years ago, a teacher named Mrs. Henderson saw a poor girl from the coal fields and believed she was worth investing in. That act of kindness rippled forward through decades. I've lived a good life. I've helped thousands of people. I've raised a son who continues that work. All because someone saw my worth when I couldn't see it myself. Margaret leans forward. You showed me the same kindness. You saw someone who needed help, and you helped without hesitation, without expectation. That's not common. That's rare. That's precious. And yes, it absolutely deserves to be honored. But what if I fail? Emma's voice breaks. What if I'm not smart enough? What if I waste your money? What if you succeed? Margaret interrupts gently. What if you become a teacher who changes a student's life? What if you become a social worker who helps struggling families? What if you become a voice for people who don't have one? Emma is crying now, unable to stop the tears. I work with a lot of charities, Emma. I see many people who need help, but I also see people who, once they get help, immediately look for ways to give back. Those are the people worth investing in. Margaret's voice grows thick with emotion. You gave your lunch to a stray dog when you were hungry. I didn't just research your background. I researched you. Lou at the diner told me you always share your tips with new waitresses. Mrs. Chun told me you carry her groceries and refuse payment. Emma stares at her, shocked. You talked to them. I had to know. I had to be sure. And now I am. You're not someone who takes. You're someone who gives. Even when you have nothing, you give. That's who I want to help. Emma covers her face with her hands, overwhelmed. She feels Margaret's hand on her shoulder, warm and steady. Kindness deserves kindness. Emma, you gave without expecting anything. Let me give back, not because you're a charity case, but because you're exactly the kind of person who will use this opportunity to make the world better. Because I believe in you. And maybe it's time you believed in yourself too. Emma lowers her hands and looks at this extraordinary woman who has truly seen her. Why me? She whispers. Why me? Margaret's smile is radiant. Because you stopped, dear. When everyone else kept walking, you stopped. And that made all the difference. In that moment, Emma feels something shift deep inside her. It's like a door she didn't know existed has suddenly opened, revealing a future she never allowed herself to imagine. She thinks of the mason jar with $200. She thinks of the shoes held together with duct tape. She thinks of the exhaustion. That's been her constant companion. And then she thinks, what if this is real? What if someone is genuinely offering her a chance to be more than tired, to become someone who can help others the way she's always wanted to? What if refusing this gift isn't humility's pride? Emma takes a shaky breath and meets Margaret's eyes. I want to study social work, she says, her voice steadying. I want to help people like me. People who are struggling and forgotten and just need someone to see them. Margaret's face lights up with joy. Then that's exactly what you'll do. And I want to make you proud, Emma continues. I want to prove you're right about me. Oh, my dear girl. Margaret's eyes shine with tears. You already are. You always have been. I'm just opening a door. You're the one who's going to walk through it and do extraordinary things. They sit together as the afternoon light slants golden through the windows. Two women from different worlds who found unexpected connection in a single act of kindness. Emma doesn't know it yet, but this moment will reshape not just her life, but the lives of countless others. A ripple starting from a crosswalk, flowing forward into a future bright with possibility. But that's still to come right now. She's just a girl who stopped when everyone else walked past. And that, it turns out, was enough. More than enough. It was everything. To years pass, like a dream Emma keeps expecting to wake from, but she doesn't wake because it's real. Emma is now a junior at the state university studying social work. She's maintained a 3.9 GPA, earned awards for her field work, made genuine friends. Margaret has become more than a benefactor. She's become a mentor, a mother figure the family Emma never had. They have tea regularly at the mansion. Margaret calls to check in. She attends Emma's presentations and celebrates her successes, but she also does something more important. She believes in Emma consistently and unconditionally. Even when Emma doubts herself, Emma hasn't forgotten where she came from. She volunteers at a homeless shelter every Saturday morning, serving breakfast to people who remind her of who she could have been. She works one shift a week at a convenience store, not because she needs the money, but because she needs to stay grounded. One Saturday at the shelter, Emma meets a man named David, maybe 40, with haunted eyes and hands that shake. He comes in every week, eats quietly, never makes eye contact. One morning, Emma notices he's reading a tattered book, To Kill a Mockingbird. That's one of my favorites, she says softly. Setting down his coffee, he looks up, surprised. Yeah? Yeah. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Something shifts in David's expression. You read it for school. I read it in a library when I was 16, Emma says. I didn't have anywhere warm to go, so I'd spend afternoons there. That book made me feel less alone. David stares at her. Then, quietly, you get it, I get it. Emma confirms. Over the following weeks, David starts to open up. Lost job, divorce, depression, a cascade of bad luck that landed him on the streets. Emma doesn't judge. She just listens, just sees him. One Saturday, David doesn't show up. Emma tries not to worry, but she can't help scanning the breakfast room. The next week, he's back, but different, clean-shaven, clearer eyes. I got into a program, he says, housing, assistance, job, training. I start next week? David, that's amazing. Emma's smile is genuine. I wanted to thank you, he continues. You're the first person in 2 years who talked to me like I was still human, who saw me. That mattered. It gave me enough dignity to try again. He presses something into her handmade bookmark with a quote carefully written. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view. Emma's eyes fill with tears. You made this. At the library, felt right? He smiles. Thank you for stopping, Emma, for seeing me when I was invisible. The echo of Margaret's words hits Emma like a wave. This is it. This is the ripple. Kindness received, kindness given, flowing forward. Graduation day arrives warm and bright. Emma stands in her cap and gown, honors cords draped around her neck, a symbol of achievement that once seemed impossible. She scans the crowd for familiar faces. Mrs. Chun is there, dabbing at her eyes. David is there in his first suit from his new job, beaming. And in the front row sits Margaret Ashford. Their eyes meet across the crowd, and Emma's vision blurs with tears. Margaret places a hand over her heart, a gesture that says everything words can't. During the ceremony, the dean pauses when Emma crosses the stage. Emma Cortez is receiving special recognition today, he announces, not only for her academic excellence, but for embodying the values of service and compassion that define our program. Emma, would you say a few words? Emma hadn't expected this. She approaches the microphone, looking out at hundreds of faces. For a moment, she's that invisible girl, again exhausted, overlooked, convinced she doesn't matter. Then she sees Margaret and remembers who she's become. 2 years ago, Emma begins, I was working 3 jobs, living in a rundown apartment, wearing shoes held together with duct tape. I was invisible. Or at least, I felt that way. The crowd is silent, but one day, I helped an elderly woman cross a busy street. It was nothing special, just being decent. But that woman saw something in me I couldn't see in myself. She saw my worth. And she gave me a chance. Emma's voice strengthens. I'm standing here today, not because I'm special. I'm standing here because someone chose to invest in kindness. Someone chose to see me when I was invisible, and that changed everything. She looks directly at Margaret. Thank you, Margaret, for opening the door. Thank you for believing I was worth it. Thank you for teaching me that kindness isn't weakness, it's the most powerful force in the world. Then Emma turns back to the crowd. We're entering a field where we'll meet people who are invisible every single day. People who are struggling, hurting, lost, and we get to choose. Do we walk past? Or do we stop? Her voice rises with passion. I'm asking you to stop. See the people others overlook. Offer help without expecting anything in return. Because that's how the world changes, not through grand gestures, but through small acts of kindness that ripple forward through time. The applause is thunderous. Emma descends from the stage and walks straight to Margaret. They embrace without word. I'm so proud of you, Margaret whispers. You are always worthy, dear. I just helped you see it. I see it now. Emma whispers back, and I'm going to spend my life helping others see their worth too. 6 months later, Emma is sitting in a small office at the nonprofit where she now works full-time. The walls are covered with drawings from the kids she works with, bright crayon pictures. Thank you notes, handprints, in paint. Her desk phone rings. Emma, there's someone here to see you. Emma walks to the lobby and stops short. A young man, maybe 17, stands awkwardly by the entrance. His clothes are threadbare, his shoes worn, his eyes holding that particular exhaustion Emma recognizes immediately. Hi, he says nervously. My teacher said you help people. People like me. I don't have anywhere to go. And I don't know what to do. Emma feels something click into place. The continuing ripple. She thinks of a crosswalk 2 years ago. She thinks of Margaret's words. You stopped. Emma walks over, extending her hand. I'm Emma. And yes, I help people. Come on, let's sit down and talk. We'll figure this out together. The boy's shoulders sagged with relief. Thank you. Thank you for seeing me. Always, Emma says softly, leading him to her office. I'll always see you. And as they sit down together, Emma understands fully what Margaret meant all along. This is the legacy of kindness. Not a single act, but an endless chain of seeing, helping, lifting, believing. One person stops. Then another. Then another. The ripple never ends. It just keeps going forward, changing lives, transforming worlds, one moment of compassion at a time. What will you do? Emma's story started with 5 minutes at a crosswalk. 5 minutes of choosing to see someone. 5 minutes that changed 2 lives and countless others. We walk past people every single day. People who are struggling, lonely, invisible, desperate for someone to notice they exist. We tell ourselves we're too busy, that someone else will help, that it's not our responsibility. But what if it is? What if you're someone's Margaret? What if stopping for just a moment could be the catalyst that changes everything? Emma didn't help Margaret because she expected a scholarship. She helped because it was right, because compassion doesn't calculate returns, because kindness doesn't need a reason beyond our shared humanity. And that's exactly why she received what she did. Because genuine kindness, kindness without agendas, so rare that when it's recognized, it's treasured. You have the power to be someone's miracle today. Maybe it's helping someone carry groceries. Maybe it's listening to someone who's lonely. Maybe it's giving your time, your attention, your belief to someone who's forgotten their own worth. You don't need wealth to be generous. Emma shared her lunch with a stray dog when she was hungry. Margaret didn't need Emma's money, she needed her compassion. We all have something to give. The question is, will we? Emma was invisible until someone chose to see her. She was drowning until someone threw her a lifeline. She was forgotten until someone remembered her humanity. Who around you is invisible? Who's drowning? Who's forgotten? And more importantly, will you stop? Because that's where transformation begins. Not in grand gestures or perfect plans, but in the simple, profound choice to see another human being and respond with love. The ripple is waiting. The story is unfinished. The next chapter is yours to write. What will you do? If this story moved you, if it reminded you that kindness matters, that one person can make a difference, that hope is worth holding on to share it. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below if you want more stories like this. Subscribe to join a community that believes compassion can change the world. And most of all, go out there and be someone's Margaret. Be the person who stops. Be the person who sees. Be the ripple that changes everything. The world is waiting